Today we are in conversation with a brand whose history dates back to the history of beer itself. Rooted from an extraordinary heritage of over 800 years, AB InBev is one of the leading alcobev companies in the world. Its iconic brands have won millions of hearts and become a part of all social gatherings. Today we are in conversation with Jishnu Gandhi, Associate Director, Digital Transformation and Analytics at AB InBev India, to explore the remarkable journey of AB InBev India and their journey with digital transformation. Hi Jishnu, welcome to Bizom's podcast. I'm really happy to be sitting here today to revisit the entire journey we have had. Just from a curiosity angle, how did AB InBev actually venture into India and how has that journey been for the brand?
First of all, very happy to be here, Arpita. Love the Bizom headquarters. I think we should have done more meetings here. Maybe we can do that going forward. On ABI's journey, it's been one of resilience, I would say, in India. We ventured into India, let's say, completely in 2016, 2017. And from then, we've been trying to build the base of being the pioneer in premium products. You'll be actually very surprised to know India is now the fourth largest market for Budweiser. So that's a feat we just achieved earlier this year. So it's a very exciting market and we're all guns blazing and very keen to see how this goes.
That's absolutely amazing to know that Budweiser now the pioneer in India as well as in the world. And now that we know that Budweiser is kind of taking off, how did we actually come across this entire consumer trend of foraying Budweiser into the beyond beer category as well?
Yes, it's been quite a journey. We as a company pride ourselves, of course, with the use of technology, and we'll probably touch on that later as well, in trying to keep with the pulse of the consumer. With the demographic dividend that we have in India, I think it's very much supportive of our beyond beer portfolio. So now we don't just have beer, we have obviously Budweiser 0.0. We've recently launched Budweiser Magnum Double Barrel Whiskey as well. And of course we have our energy drink Budweiser Beats, which we ventured into in 2021. So all of this is keeping in mind what the consumers are asking. And of course India by design is a spirits market. Could be a factor of taxation, could be a factor of consumer taste or a mix of both. And because of that, we've now forayed into using the power of our other brands as well, like Hoegaarden, and going into white spirits like gin. Seven Rivers, which is our craft beer brand, we've now ventured into rum. And our partnership with Slab Ventures, we're now venturing into vodka with Diawar.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of products now which you have to market and distribute.
Yes.
So in terms of distribution, do you think that digital enablement is like the spine of the entire operation? And how does it actually help the sales and development team at all?
Absolutely. It is the backbone, to say the least. Now, you worked very closely with us, so you understand that the route to market for alcoholic beverages is very different from other CPG products. So with the kind of restrictions that are there, and for our audience, I think just to put it out there, let's say in India for alcobev, even if the overall customer base or the retailer base is limited, but the way that you reach out to them differs by state. So it's ruled by both federal as well as state regulations. So when we partnered with Bizom, I think one of the first things that we had to sort out is how will we make sure that we have customized strategies, making sure that in a particular state when we are venturing into it, our products are reaching the right outlets in the right manner, right? So of course having information on what these outlets, where they are, how much are they able to sell is a big plus. But as we ventured into beyond beer, and especially for our non-alcoholic portfolio, I think that's where we really leverage the power that Bizom has because of all the other clients that you worked with in the past and the aggregated information of the industry. So literally when we were launching the non-alcoholic beverage portfolio, although we had a team of experts, I think using that information about, hey, where is your outlet base? What is, from a productivity perspective, what is the time and outlet to spend? What is a good ratio of productive outlets to have where you're actually making a sell versus where you're just visiting to build the relationship? All of that sort of feeds in to make sure that it's a very well-oiled machine. And that's how we use technology to be able to get to that.
That's really great to know as well. I'm happy that the data crunching actually led somewhere. Now that brings me to the next question is that how did you actually, decide to partner with Bizom all together and what has that journey been like?
It was back in 2021. Not that we were not using a Salesforce automation solution then, but I think we very quickly realized that we needed something more market focused for India. And that's how we went on about a 3-4 month journey, evaluating Bizom as well as I think about 9 to 10 other partners. For us, eventually it came down to a few basics that we wanted to be clear on. Number one, whoever we partner with had to be a stable organization. Such a big digital transformation you don't want to do every 2 years, 3 years even, right? So we need that company to stay for longer with us and be on this journey. Someone who has the capabilities, not just whatever we were using today, but also the advanced capabilities of the future. So be it things, I'm going to just put some examples out there, right? Simple things like route optimizations, because there's a lot of time that a salesperson is spending on ground, to more advanced capabilities connecting different parts of the value chain, going to the distributors or distributor management system, for example, and above and beyond. And along with this, I think which was a kicker where Bizom stood out for us was around the fact that you guys had a very deep understanding of our industry already because you were present in the space. And we were not just looking for a product partner, we were looking for someone who can come in every month, every week, and really we can talk about business insights and change the course of certain decisions that we might have taken based on this data. So that's how I think back in 2021 we went on this journey. We did 2-3 month pilot. I think at that time we were able to make about 20 or 30 product changes based on ground feedback. So it was a very, very interesting journey for about 6 months, and I'm glad that we went on that together, and here we are.
So like you mentioned that every journey will have its ups and downs. So in terms of Bizom, like what are a few challenges in terms of the entire digital transformation which a business goes through, right?
Yeah.
And how did you actually maneuver with it? Because there's a lot of internal and external change management as well which you have to cater to.
I would like to answer that in 2 parts. I think one is purely from a product standpoint, and so like a product fit for what we need. I think that's where we had a great advantage with Bizom because sort of like I said, we've been present in the industry from other CPG brands being using it. So I think a lot of the questions that we had were already answered in a way. Okay. But let's talk about specifics. So let's say if you look at the Bizom UI today, it's simple, it's very simple, right? But that is both a benefit because it was primarily one of the reasons why we switched over as well from one of the earlier partners. Because we needed something that worked in the remotest of areas in this country, right? But on the other hand, when you have a trade-off between the amount of information you need to collect and the way that you want to collect it, because a salesperson time is limited, I think that's where we had very sort of healthy conversations between both teams. And maybe I'll point out an example. So when we were discussing information to collect on ground with respect to any execution activities in an outlet, we reached this stage where, hey, because of the UI, you would have to do sort of an indefinite scrolling, and that's really not going to be conducive from a time perspective for the salesperson. So we reached that point, right? But I think working with your product team at that stage and having that direct access really helped because we came up with a very simple but smart solution where your team suggested that there'll be sort of like a copy-paste functionality. So whatever you've done from your last visit, because certain metrics don't really change visit on visit, right? Things like manufacturing date of the stock, for example, in a product like beer. And that simple step just saved those 4-5 extra minutes in an outlet, and still we were able to sort of get the information we needed. So I think the journey has been one of where both sides have been able to bring up ideas or ingenious solutions for some of the core business problems.
That's good to know. I'm going back to my days when we kind of had arguments on, this should be this and this should be that. Yes. In terms of the UI, and I'm glad that we understand the business objective behind it. Just from a standpoint of this entire digital transformation journey, we have now kind of become like a core to the ABI's operations per se, right? And you were talking about Beyond Beer now exploding. So I'm pretty sure that there must be a lot of internal alignment which you would have to do. So any tips on that for who want to now digitally transform their business?
I think change management is probably anyway the most spoken about topic when anyone talks about digital transformation. So not to sound like a cliche, but then it's what it is, and that's probably the most important step that we'll have in this journey. When we were faced with this, I think right at the start, when I was telling you about how we were evaluating the partner, there were 2-3 basics that we wanted to keep in mind, which I think help us later on. Number one, so as a structure, we have obviously our sales organization on ground. We have our route to market teams who are again specialists on understanding the business, and then we also have our technology teams who understand product and UI and consumer needs well. We got all 3 teams in the same room, and this evaluation was conducted together. So it's not like any one of them was being introduced to this at a much later stage. So that initial sort of hurdle to cross in terms of understanding, are we doing the right thing, are we going with the right partner, got addressed there. But that's step 1. Step 2 was a lot of internal change management for our on-ground field teams, right? There's 2 things that helped us there. Number 1, like I said, is we did pilots. So what that meant is we actually chose pan-India, we picked up regions. In each of the regions we chose champions, and those champions not only crafted the product in the way that the teams wanted it in the first 3 months, but then also became the actual people who are convincing the rest of the team members. But one of the things actually surprisingly which was good was a lot of the people that already were in the team had used Bizom at one of their earlier points in their career. So that also eased a lot of change management, and that was a surprise that came up later. So we've done a lot of that internal change management, and I think anyone would have to do it, and all the way up to leadership conversations where we are pulling this data and we are trying to create a single truth at ABI. But then now we're also talking about external change management when we talk about our non-alcoholic business and going to distributors. So while using our distributor management system, there's a ton of work being done right now between our teams to really go out to the distributor and understand what would make them sort of use this, because the insights that we get from the data are invaluable. So we are on that second leg of journey today, but that's how it's been for us so far.
I understand that, because driving adoption externally, I think can be more challenging than internal. So looking forward to partnering with ABI to help them bring those adoption numbers up. So now that we have done SFA, DMS and a couple of more core solutions, what is like the next roadmap which you see coming up in terms of maybe Bizom or other solutions which you are right now looking at?
Like we've discussed in various points on this journey, Arpita, and I think you brought it up, or the rest of the team has brought it up as well. The real beauty is when, so there'll be multiple systems obviously in any organization, but the real beauty is when A, you're able to optimize, and B, whatever you have by design, they're able to talk to each other. So what we've embarked on now again is a lot of the examples that I can quote are from the integrations that we've done with some of the other solutions. So just to bring out one would be, let's say on our visibility of the products in an outlet. When we talk about calculating chiller purity, it's a very important metric in the space of beverages, specifically in alcohol, in beer as well, because what is cold is sold, right? That's the truth on ground. So to be able to make sure that all of our chillers are pure with our products, and being able to do that by just a simple click of an image, and that telling you that hey, you're at 80% purity or 90% purity. We were sort of on that journey already before we engaged with Bizom. But then the tricky part was, how do you make sure that now all of this is talking together, right? Now seamlessly, if the salesperson is using the Bizom application, how will we make sure that their experience is so seamless that they're able to still do the click and the result comes up. So I think that's the next leg of our journey, where we were able to successfully do it in this example, and there's a lot more to do as we expand into our distributor management system and all of the other technologies that we'll be partnering with together.
Thank you so much for your time today, Jishnu. It was a pleasure going back the memory lane, to be honest, and looking forward to the other ingenious solutions which will come up together.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
It was amazing to listen to how the company is leveraging data and insights to bring their amazing products to Indian consumers and ensuring last mile delivery. Thank you everyone for joining us for another Bizom podcast on Masters of Change.